trade caravans are getting unreliable.
Damn centaurs.
All right, we're back. We're continuing on, late April here, at the south of Kessex Hills, some of the furthest reaches of Kryta, really, as we start going out towards the Badlands and the areas of the Tarnished Coast where the Tengu, the Sylvari, the Asura all take residence. And we have a bit of a problem in a remote swamp that appear to be Zaitan minions. In fact, let's have a look at the story journal. I always love looking at this. I always feel bad when we don't. So we're currently on Traitor to the Queen. Logan needs a favor. There are 3 orders of Tyria: the Priory, the Whispers, and the Vigil. The Priory and Vigil are arguing over jurisdiction in a private investigation. Logan has asked me to be an arbitrator between the 2 groups. Villagers around Lichcroft Mare often go into the swamp and gather moss to burn in the fireplace. It's funny because all the reasons that they've been there, I think, has changed each time we've heard about this. Logan says that the undead ran into the swamp. If that's true, those villagers could be in great danger, and I'd better look into it.
It gives me a chance to ask more questions. Like, I know why the sky is blue, but how big is it?
Here's the Sylvari being curious as ever. This guy's actually called Meme. That's hilarious. This place tickles my senses. It's so vibrant. It's very pleasant. Of course, Pelin isn't much a fan. He's more set in his ways than Vanis than I are. We awoke very recently, you know. You're late sleepers, Not in the way that you mean it, I suspect. When we awaken, we come into being. You might say we're born, but it's not like how it happens for you. We awaken from the dream, fully grown. What of your parents? We have all but one parent, the Pale Tree. She is our mother. We awaken among her roots, and she guides us throughout our lives. Oh, I see. So, yeah, those guys seem kind of weird. We're not interested in the Sylvari. Those guys freak me out. I don't understand them, therefore I am prejudiced against them. Here you'll see that this supply cart is actually technically an NPC. It's because this is actually going to get pulled and moved around, I believe. Oh, look at this, guys. So, there is a horrible, scary-looking quaggan here called Poobadoo. So, we haven't really met the quaggan. The quaggan are aquatic species. We'll have plenty of opportunity to meet them later. This one is a guild mission. I actually showed you one of these before, very briefly. So, in various zones, you can find NPCs charging around. And what's happened is a guild of players... This is not like a story thing. Oh my god, we got hit really hard there. A guild of actual Guild Wars 2 players has seen this guy, and they've decided to take him down. So they've triggered that as an event, and they've killed it. You see all these? These are actual players. This happens constantly around Tyria. It's one of my favorite systems that's in the game. It's just very unfortunate in that it hasn't been updated for several years. But yeah, there's constantly emergent, interesting, dynamic stuff happening there that is driven by players and guilds as they travel around the world. It's kind of part of the end game, really. So those guys did that. Because they did it as a group, they will have earned favor with a faction. Not the Order of Whispers, not the Dermot Pro, but another faction called the Guild Initiative, where one of the characters from a novel actually leads, by the way. If you're following me as I read the novel Ghost of Ascalon on another series on my channel, there's a character called Dougal Keane who actually leads that initiative. And yeah, the Guild Initiative have all these missions that go out around the world. I wish that the devs would update it and do a couple more. Just before we leave to go to this swamp, I'm going to grab this waypoint here, which will enable us to get back here quite quickly if they want to rendezvous. Once again, who's this? Crew Leader Klazd. Aha! I finally got the best of that Tengu charlatan. Consider yourself one-upped, you bird-brained canary. What are you talking about? There's a Tengu that regularly empties my coin purse, after which I have nothing to show for it. But not this time. I swindled him out of his supplies. He'll think twice before he outbargains me again. What happened? You're an admirer of the Outwitter, I see. Well, when I arrived, all I needed were rations. I walked away with 4 spare golem arms and a scepter. All for what I'd planned on spending on food. So, hold on, he overspent. That's the idea. You got a great deal on your rations. I didn't even know I needed the gear, but I couldn't say no once I'd talked him down so far on the price. I hadn't gotten the rations yet, but that's beside the point. Wait, so you spent all of your coin and didn't get the food that you need? Well... blast! I should go. He sounds like he's a pretty bad merchant, actually. It sounds like the Tengu got one over on him. I love that these guys are called the Kuromi, by the way. Guild Wars 1 had lots of Kuromi Tengu, Kuromi being their tribe. Essentially, there's all different tribes of Tengu that all now have just coalesced together behind that wall. And so some of them we still have never seen in Guild Wars 2, like the Sensali or the Angshu. Those would be Canthan tribes, which, remember last episode we heard Cantha we haven't had contact with for a long time. But the Chromie, at least we get to interact with them. We see them around here. But yeah, okay, so let's go on through. You'll notice lots of wrecks again. I already told this story, but basically this map is technically not taking place in the year 1235. It's, sorry, 1325, 1235. 1325 AE. This map is actually more like 1327 AE. And all these ruins will be explained by Living World Season 1 later. So let's just pretend that it's a nice, clear, clean lake, okay? But yeah, so we'll move on through. Check it out. There's some onions here. We haven't gathered ever? I don't think so. Here, check it out. There's an onion. We do it very, very, very rarely. So I figured I would at least use a little bit of our gathering materials. I don't really want to swim too deep here because I'm not very comfortable underwater. We're going to move over to the west. As you can see, our quest icon over here on our minimap, I'll make it a bit bigger, is telling us to. The rain starts pouring. The way that weather works in the game, this is kind of one of those classic things. Until the most recent expansion, which does have dynamic weather in various places, most of the game, it's like the weather is not dynamic. It's like certain areas of the game are raining as you go to them, and then it stops raining when you go away, kind of thing. So that's what it is here. This swamp it's raining at, so kind of nasty. I was actually tempted to climb up on that because up there, right at the top, you can see in that tree there's a vista, but whatever. I guess we don't have to worry too much about that. Let's just swim along. Over there to the south would be more of the Tarnished Coast. And check it out. We come to the first Sylvari Village, I believe, of the series. I know that Bract ran past some, but look, this is actually a little Sylvari house built out of mushrooms and plants.
Our deeds are reflected in the dream.
And these guys just sort of mingle around here, right on the borders of Kryta. I guess, mechanically speaking, because we're still in Kessex Hills, we would still call this Kryta, but we're so close now to the Caledon Forest, the jungles of the Tarnished Coast, you might consider us slightly out of Kryta here. We're just dipping...
Creature to track.
Sure.
But they're, big. And they have lots of claws, right?
Exactly.
Oh, what did she ask him? I missed it. What did she ask him? Something, probably what animal is he most scared of, or race is he most scared of? I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, we're not going to spend too long here. There is once again another heart. So most of these places, you can stop, you can speak to the people like this heart guy here. You can do some tasks for them that generally involves running around pressing F, just like I showed you in episode 2. And that will level you up a bit. And you'll learn a tiny little bit more about the area, but very rarely is there anything amazing. But yeah, that is the swamp, and I think straight away we're ready to go straight on in with our story, Brute Force. Look at that concept art. Oh, it's so good, guys. Some of these loading screens are amazing. So that loading screen is actually the Shadow Behemoth of Queensdale that I showed you before. Why they reuse the art here, I'm not sure. I mean, they both do take place in Crichton Swamps. You'll notice that when we get in here as well, the game is really beautiful here. You get all these nice fireflies floating around. It's not raining and horrible and grim. The colors just generally very different. The reflections on the water. I genuinely think this is one of those beautiful areas of Kryta. And it's funny because you can only sort of experience it with this lighting here.
This place is infested with undead.
Oh, God. Okay, so here we go. Undead.
Glad to see you, Advocate, but I wish I had better news. We've got a problem. The Vigil squad sent to meet us has been overrun during an initial sweep of the swamp. The area's crawling with hostiles. The children are still out there, and now my soldiers are in jeopardy as well. It's down to you and me.
Don't worry, Hiroki. I can handle myself in a fight. If you're willing, we can rescue your soldiers and then find those kids.
Your courage does you credit. Vigil soldiers are well-trained, dedicated, and determined to defend Tyria. You'd fit right in. If my squad followed protocol, they'll have dug in to wait for reinforcements. We'll need to look for a makeshift bunker.
Then that is what we'll do. I'm ready to move out when you are.
Oh, God. Look, everybody wants us in their team, man. Look, everybody's trying to recruit us constantly. Right, so, as I said yesterday, there is a lot more dialogue in this instance, frankly. We can speak to Hiroki. She says there's no time to waste. If we want to find those children and my soldiers, we'll have to hurry. And it's mostly because if you do the Dermond Priory version of this, you use their device, the Verge, is it? And basically, you just slip along and you do the kids bit. But on the Vigil version, you have this extra moment where you get to help out with all the other soldiers. So here we can see a very cool-looking green-eyed Asura there. You see that so rarely with those green eyes. Wow. The game just feels so vibrant right now. What the hell is that? It feels so nice. But yeah, so we get this extra bit. Now, you have to be careful. If you are not doing very well at the game at this point, I'm not sure how that would be, but if you're not, the NPCs, the Vigil soldiers that die here, are not resurrectable in any way. So you have to be very careful. Here we got this human. He's got Feeding Frenzy, so he does just 50% more damage, so we've got to be really careful. Oh yeah, I was going to show you water achievements. So check it out. Water with the Scepter.
The undead don't gather like this without cause. I can only imagine what horror was behind this.
Yeah, what horror is behind this? Why are they moving? What has caused Zaitan to become a little bit more active here? I mean, the idea is the dragons are always expanding. But here we go. So I will show you. First, we get the autos. Sends out 3 icy projectiles that just keep doing damage. It's fairly low. It's single target, but you can just keep autoing stuff to death. I mean, in Corteria, it's going to be pretty comfortable. Now, remember, because we are fire specialized, blessed by Balthazar, fire specialized, you'll notice I occasionally do burn them, even with these watery strikes, and I love that theme. The idea of that is because when we critically hit, we have a chance to burn, so...
Hurry. There are undead here. The children are in great danger.
Yeah, don't worry. We will find the children. We will, don't worry. So there you can see I've actually got a little bit of burning out. So I love that, like, being fire specialized but staying in water achievement. It's very, very cool. So anyway, that's the auto. What else have we got? Well, there's another Risen Human here. We got Shatterstone. Shatterstone being named after... Actually, Ice Shards as well. Lots of these skills are named after Guild Wars 1 skills. So Shatterstone. Cast a Shatterstone that will explode in the target area. So it's kind of funny. This is a really weird skill. Because the way that Elementalist works, there you go. It explodes. It's just a little ice spike. And what it does is it puts 5 vulnerability out. So one of the themes of water is we're supportive, right? We heal people up, we support them and stuff. But one of the other ways you help your team as a water elementalist is you put lots of vulnerability out. Now, vulnerability increases the damage they take. So it's a way of saying, hey, my allies do more damage. We cast Shatterstone, and we make the Risen more vulnerable to our friends who are casting their own spells, you see? So that's one way that a lot of water stuff has vulnerability on it, and this skill's got 5. It's a funny skill because the way that Elementalist works is you roll through so many abilities so constantly. Very rarely do you ever find yourself casting this. So the devs have constantly, since 2012, buffed it and buffed it and buffed it and buffed it, and it's a bit of a joke that they keep buffing it and people still don't use it, you know? So that's that, and then finally we have Water Trident.
It's hard to believe anyone could survive here for long.
It is hard to believe. Finally, we have Water Tridents. So we just throw a Trident out. Again, a Guild Wars 1 skill. It looks very cool. Now, you notice it did a tiny bit of damage, but barely any, all right? The thing with Water Trident is this is actually a splash of water to heal, right? When we cast this, it actually heals massively at our feet and gives people regeneration. So this is actually more of a defensive skill here. I know it's Trident, but the idea isn't actually to throw it at enemies. The idea is to throw it on us like so, and we give ourselves lots of health and continually regenerating health as well while we're at it. So there you go. That's Scepter. It combos quite nicely range-wise with the focus abilities, which are also 900, and I've shown you before. So we can use the Freezing Gust, and we can use the Comet, and we can sort of do this stuff. And then obviously as an Ellie, we can dance between the two. So already there's a ton of different combos and things you can do. Remember, we have the Fire Field in Fire, so we can drop the Fire Field down, drop the Phoenix, the Dragon's Tooth, go to Water, and then drop a Comet. And the Comet is a blast as well, so you can just pump tons of burning out by like slamming an icy Comet inside the Fire Field and whatnot. Really, really, really cool. So yeah, let's break these guys down. I think that's enough talking about our skills. Let's go over to this area of the Swamp now, and you will see...
War Master, thank the pale tree. We're over here.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? The Vigil.
Crusader Hiroki, thank the pale tree. You're a sight for sore eyes.
It's good to see you're still alive, Serena. What's the status of your troops?
We found several children hiding in the swamp. As we were helping them, we were overrun. We dug in here to repel an undead attack. It's not going well, Crusader. The Risen have pinned us down and inflicted heavy casualties. As the commander of this unit, I take full responsibility.
Remember your oath, Serena. Your soldiers swore to protect the innocent, and that's exactly what they did. We are the light in the darkness. The soldiers in your command died with honor.
What do we do now, Hiroki? Head back out of the swamp?
This isn't over yet, Advocate. Not while there are still people lost in the swamp out there. The mission will go on.
Yeah, what? How did I forget that?
Children are our top priority. We'll hold off the undead, and when their lines break, we'll get the kids to safety. Tactician?
You heard the Crusader. Vigil, form a defensive perimeter. You two, take the east. You two, the west. Eyes sharp.
The Advocate and I will cover the center. Move out.
So, bit of interesting trivia.
What's wrong, little one? Scared or just green?
And what, pray tell, is wrong with being green?
Oh, nothing, ma'am. It's just a turn of phrase.
Turn your phrase to battle, soldier. Here they come.
These guys are great. Interesting bit of trivia. Serena looks totally different in the cutscene compared to out of it. Also, Wiki says anyway. So here, check it out. Look, you got little children here. They're all crying and hiding. And they do speak to us. They say, please help me. Don't let them eat me. I won't let anyone harm you. I swear it by Dwayne, we say. And then the same dialogue over here. And yeah, we do actually get undead attacking us. Like I warned you, if our troops die here, they are unresurrectable. That's it. They go down and that's it. So we got to make sure we keep on top of the damage. We heal people up with our water tridents. We put vulnerability so that we kill things fast. And yeah, generally just try and regenerate them. Look at these green numbers constantly ticking. It's because I threw the water trident out.
Incoming. Incoming. Too many to count.
You're a big help. What kind of a Sura can't count?
Ready your weapons, not your sarcasm, you idiots. Incoming!
The Vigil are great. What kind of a Sura can't count? I think that's a goddamn good question. Where are they attacking us from? We're in a horrible position. So over there you can see some of them are charging out. So yeah, let's also show off, I guess, air attunement. So this is attunement number 3. Air attunement is one of my favorite attunements. If you take the right traits, it can be really fascinating. So look, they're coming at us now. So the auto attack is this. So air is, while fire has lots of AoE, air is super single target oriented. So you get this laser beam. I don't know if you guys have ever played Magicka. I actually have a series of playing Magicka on my channel, I think. Yeah, you get a laser beam that connects you and it just keeps rolling damage. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Now, the start of the damage is weaker than the end. So you try not to cancel this. If you're going to go with this, make sure you get the last couple of ticks because it builds up more and more and more as it goes by. The skill 2 is very simple as well. It's called Lightning Strike. You just conjure a lightning strike from the skies. Super quick to recharge. Instant activation. Can do it in the middle of a dodge. Anything. You just strike people with lightning. And it's a big hit, by the way. If that critically hits, it's really devastating. So you get that, and another one here. So there's a plague carrier. Oh, so you got to be careful of plague carriers. They blow up and like hurt you if they get near you. Here you go. So make sure we kill those before they can take out the Vigil.
They're closing from all sides. We're done for.
Don't give up. Hiroki will see us through.
Now shut eyes open, soldiers.
And so then the last one is Blinding Flash. It's the same. It's a lightning strike from the sky, but this one does 0 damage and it blinds. So blind meaning that they'll miss their next attack. So that's what air is. You can just continuously chain the laser beam and just lightning strike people to death, Zeus style. It's fantastic. Obviously, we have this comboed with a focus right now. So you can knock people down with a gale and then lightning strike them afterwards. You can drop your swirling winds here to prevent all projectile damage. I mean, the armies of Zaitan, the Risen, don't really use too many projectiles very often. A lot of them are more zombie style. They'll come up and they'll bash you in the head. So Swirling Winds isn't too good right now. But later, as the story progresses, it will be much better. So yeah, there you go. That's air. You'll also notice, by the way, on my mini-map... Look, these guys are getting in here and doing some damage. I'm going to drop the water trident to heal everyone up. You'll notice on the mini-map, red dots actually appear. And that shows you where the Risen are on this instance. It's very rare that the game does that, but it does here.
The undead are falling back. Their lines are broken. We've won.
This is our chance to get the children out. Soldier, what's Tactician Serena's status? Is she badly injured?
She's conscious, Crusader, but in rough shape. I'm no expert on Sylvari, but it looks pretty bad.
Leave me. I'm not afraid to die. I gave my oath.
The Vigil doesn't leave anyone behind, Serena. You don't have permission to die. Do you hear me?
I hear you, Crusader. And thank you.
We can go out the way we came in. Move fast, keep the children together, and don't stop unless you absolutely have to.
Agreed. Vigil, move out.
You don't have permission to die. It's so, like, action movie-like.
For great justice.
It actually reminds me a bit, as well, of Toy Story. That bit where the green soldier is, like, left at the start of Toy Story 1. He's like, you never leave a good soldier behind. All right, let's just escort everyone out, then. So it looks like the Risen have just kept swarming out of the swamp. We'll keep moving in this direction. Feels like the sun is setting as well while we've been here, right? Is everybody with us? Feels pretty good. It's the kids that I'm mostly concerned about. They don't seem to be very concerned. They're just sort of sprinting around. So in the Dermot Priory version of this instance, children are actually under a very interesting active effect that I'm desperate to show you guys. But don't worry, because that cool active effect will appear in an upcoming instance again anyway. So we get to have our cake and eat it too, trust me. We found the perfect way through. Let's take these guys out. I love seeing some of the Vigil with the staff abilities, so you can actually see one of them's in fire achievement. We have a fire elementalist with us. I think it's really, really badass. Let's get on out. Lead the children to the evacuation point. It's back over here at the village where the Sylvari are. Everybody all doing good? I don't think anybody died either. That's really nice.
Can't believe we made it out. Serena, you're hurt.
Don't worry about me. Worry about the children.
Worry about both. Do what you can for her wounds out. We'll carry Serena if we have to. Let's go. We don't have much time before those undead return. In number.
All right, very nice. I really like this story because it could have easily been like so cliche and like, oh, she sacrificed herself, but they avoid that, you know? And they actually show just how determined the Vigil are rather than anything else. Your quick thinking saved these children. The Vigil could use a soldier like you. We could say, Serena, are you all right? Will you regrow? Is that the right term? What? Oh, my wounds? Yes, I'll heal, thank you. We Sylvari are a hardy race, even if we don't look it. How did you get involved with the Vigil? From Awakening, the Sylvari know we must fight the dragons. The Vigil gives me that opportunity. I'm honored to be here. Awakening? Is that the Sylvari version of being born? Yes, exactly. We step fully formed from the pale tree. How are you humans made? And we just avoid the question, well, when a mummy loves a daddy very much. Wait, what's our line here? Let's discuss this some other time, Serena. Get some rest. I think that they messed up the dialogue positioning a little bit there, but that's totally a response to when she asks us how humans are made. Hiroki, what do you say? Without you, Advocate, my soldiers and these children would have been lost. We all owe you our lives. It was my honor to fight with the Vigil. Tell me again how you joined the Order? Well, I was raised in Kryta, but I joined the Ebon Vanguard, hoping to do some good. So the Ebon Vanguard are the humans that were defending Ebonhawk from the Charge just before this treaty came through. She says, I joined the Vigil when I realized that the dragons are a bigger threat than the Char. But you don't fight for Kryta anymore. How do you justify that, we say? She says the battlefield changes how we see the world. Honorable Char, traitorous humans. In the end, what matters most is that Tyria survives. I'm just glad that both the Vigil squad and the children are safe. We're safe, but I must make sure the healers tend to Serena's wounds. Luckily, she's Sylvari. What do you mean, luckily, she's Sylvari? Sylvari aren't affected by Zaitan's corruption like the other races, she says. Where we come back from the dead to serve Zaitan, they simply die. I've never heard of such a thing. That's amazing. Does anyone know why, we ask? She says, it's a mystery, even to the scholars of the Priory. Personally, I think the goddess Melandru created the Sylvari to fight by our side. They certainly are a blessing. That's very interesting. May I ask you another question? So, this dialogue here, guys, this is really rare dialogue. Can I just be clear? After that final bit of audio, we could have easily left. There's also a huge group of NPCs here, most of which, when you press F on, they don't have anything to say. I don't even think this dialogue here is on Wiki, just by the way. But it's really fascinating, brilliant dialogue that hints at a big mystery for the first expansion. Yes, it's true. The Sylvari don't get corrupted. Everyone else, if Zaitan claims your life, he can reanimate your corpse and you become one of the Risen. But that doesn't happen to the Sylvari. The story will touch on that again later, but this is a brilliant introduction to that straight away. So they are very, very valuable soldiers in the fight, particularly against Zaitan. And we will see what the Orders end up doing with that later on. But there you go. So that's Serena, and hopefully she'll live to fight another day. And we save the kids. So that's very cool. I guess now we can... oh, look, we're not even going back to the camp now. We go all the way back to the city, and we will see what our next decision is going to be. So here you can see this massive jump that they've asked us to take. I talked about this before when we were zipping and backwards and forwards through the Shiver Peaks and back to the Black Citadel. You know, waypoints are really built into the design of the game. It wouldn't necessarily be fun walking backwards and forwards through Kryta like that. I mean, I suppose in a sense it might be. In a world where there was tons of dynamic events and it was always a different experience, but the game's generally not designed to expect you to not use waypoints, so it can be frustrating. You have these long adventures backwards and forwards. Nonetheless, though, we are back at the home instance. Very cool place here. When was the last time we were here? God, there would have been a lot of stuff that's changed, guys. I actually still have got a lot I want to show you.
What can I do for you?
Hello, Mr. Priest. I still want to show you all the upgrades that I've got because that's a big part of the game. I still want to show you some of the NPCs. I'll reiterate, as we play the story, We got all these priests and priestesses here. Various NPCs do unlock back here. That's a really cool map of the world. The various NPCs do unlock back here, almost as like trophies of the experience you had. There was kind of a period where a lot of RPGs were doing similar things to this, a lot of them. And Guild Wars 2 definitely was big on that when the game first came out. Here's a little bit of a thing, by the way. When we come into this door here, you can actually come into this old man's house and speak to him. And he says, "Excuse me, what are you doing in my home?" And we say, "Looking for treasure." He says, "That's a good one. You are joking, right? As far as you know," well, I must be off. So that is obviously referring to like the RPG trope, where we could just go into everyone's houses and loot them for, you know, reward and treasure. And obviously, people in old RPGs wouldn't even care. They just let you smash their urns and their pots and stuff and take all the currency and leave. Well, that guy doesn't enjoy that, so that's cool. But yeah, so when we forward, this is kind of weird in that most of the time when you have an instance, a story instance in the home instance. Oh, what did he say there? They say there? Most of the time when you have this situation, the game doesn't show you all of your other unlocks. If you look at my minimap right now, there's tons of them there. Usually they don't do both at once, but they have done both at once on this one here. So, all right, okay. So, hello everybody.
We need to deal the undead a decisive blow. Remove the army, and we remove the threat.
There's an intelligence to their movements. We need to discover the root of the problem, not just follow them from fight to fight.
At the cost of lives, the undead are attacking now. If we sit idle, people will die.
All right, so it seems like they're already in another dispute. Hey, Logan, what's going on, man? He says, Queen Jenna said you'd be able to soothe their ruffled feathers. For your sake, I hope she's right. What's going on, guys?
Advocate, the representatives have reported your success. Well done.
Thank you, Logan. I'm glad we saved the children, but the undead are still a problem.
I'm told the children saw a Seraph soldier in the swamp, and their stories were quite appalling. They were as frightened of him as of the undead. If this was that soldier, the children say he's become violent and incoherent. They also say that the undead weren't attacking him.
There aren't any Seraph outposts in Lichcroft Mere. What's a lone soldier doing out there?
According to Seraph reports, a corporal named Kellock didn't report for duty. I'd assumed he was AWOL in Lion's Arch, but maybe there's more to it.
This Kellock could be under Zaitan's influence. Could he be inciting the Risen and making them more aggressive? Maybe he's a necromancer.
We don't have time for theories, Advocate. Vigil scouts marked more undead approaching the town of Triskel Quay. The corruption is spreading.
If so, then Triskel Quay is just a symptom. Whatever's drawing the undead inland will continue to do so even if we save the town. We should investigate what happened to Kellock. He may be the key to these attacks. Till we know what's going on, we're just plugging leaks.
You want to go on a wild goose chase, Ehan? Fine. But don't risk Triskel Quay. We need soldiers to defend the town or people will die.
A few will die now, but we'd be saving many in the long run. The Order of Whispers is prepared to make that exchange.
Oh, I don't know if I am.
It's a good thing that decision's not up to you two. Advocate, it's in your hands.
Right, so, like, here's the thing. I understand what Ehan is saying, right? Like, God, the Order of Whispers seems so shady in the human version and interpretation of this, right? I understand what he's saying. But, like, what? Yeah, there was one undead that was a Seraph that's gone missing. We thought was maybe in Lion's Arch. I get it. I love the lights in the windows. But, come on, man. We can't just let people die to go on and do it after. What's so input? This is not time sensitive. I cannot get behind Eon's plan whatsoever. What do the Priory think?
We know so little.
He just says we know so little. I actually love that line. It's like, you know, there's that thing that quite stupid people speak too much or act like they know everything. But there's that thing, that perspective. The more you know, the less confident you are in what you know, right? And that's cool to hear the Priory basically espousing that. Yeah, I'm sorry. We have to go Vigil again. I mean, we weren't that impressed by them out in the town, but it's got to be, right?
Never leave a comrade.
Hiroki says, we need your decision. Do you choose to go with the Vigil or to go with the Order of Whispers? Is this typical Vigil strategy? Gather soldiers, attack target? Yes, we are a military order. We play to our strengths. There are a few situations that a good broadsword can't handle. Okay, can you remind me about the choices again? Well, you can go with the Vigil to Triskel Quay, or you can help the Order of Whispers track down the mysterious soldier. I'm ready to decide. We're going to help the people of Triskel Quay. Glad to hear it. Meet me at the K, and we will face these risen head on. Travel safely, and I'll see you there. You know, we got to prioritize. I'm so sorry, Ihan, but we've got to.
Caravans and lions aren't just late, and we're having trouble getting meat and milk from the outlying ranches.
Stockpiling staples was the right call. I know this isn't quite a siege, but I certainly can't depend on the caravans like I used to.
War can't last forever.
So they're still talking about the Centaur War. So there we go. We get a reward. We leveled up from that, as you can see. Oh, this is pretty good. So we get a new focus. We get a choice here of sigil. So the sigil of fire for the flame blast, water or earth. Let's go earth because we saw the flame blast sigil before. So we can replace that. But we also, as a quest reward from the regular thing, got a dagger. So I kind of want to equip dagger offhand here. Which was it? It was this green one. Nice. So we'll equip this dagger, and yeah, now we're set to dagger, which is a slightly different orientation, and we get our first elite skill, guys. Oh, this is gonna be good. I love the human elite skills. I really do. I think they're brilliant. So got the Misfire Wolf for having Deluxe Edition. I'm pretty sure we showed off. Yeah, we did ages ago. We got that. Then we have 3 of the gods. Check it out. You got the Reaper of Grenth, the Avatar of Melanju, or the Hounds of Balthazar. I want to show all of these off. We're going to start with the Reaper of Grenth. Become a Reaper of Grenth, chilling and poisoning nearby foes. I'll talk specifically about how that skill works in the next episode. Ihan, are you okay with us?
May the Six watch over you.
He says, you chose with your heart, Advocate. That's all anyone can ever ask. Thanks for understanding. Hiroki and I will defend Crystal Crate and then meet you back here. See? Too bad. Well, I can't blame you. The Vigil seems much more proactive than the rest of us, right? Good luck and no hard feelings. Thanks, Ihan. I'll see you at Nebu Terrace afterwards. So there, players of the original game might recognize Nebu Terrace. That was indeed a place. I'm glad you decided so quickly. Not going to change your mind, are you? No, definitely not. I'm proud to go with the Vigil and save the K. I appreciate your confidence. The people are scoundrels. Wow, really? That live there? But the dragons are far worse. I'll see you there. Wow, that seems like an element of this decision that the devs decided to cut out, maybe. Logan, do you think I made the right decision? He won't even speak to us. All right, brilliant. So there you go. Pretty simple. We're going to now go to the place, and it is somewhere we've been before. I did mention in the last episode we'd be back. We're going back to the lake, guys, just south of the Triskelion Vale, and we'll save the people there. We did pass on by very briefly, and it looks like we were right to unlock that area of the world because they are going to be threatened soon. That will be in the next part. I know this one's been a little bit shorter than the normal ones, but I have to go stream for you guys, so I can't be late for that. And yeah, next time, everybody, we will have a look at the Reaper of Grenth. We'll look at another specialization. We'll look at Earth Attunement on the Scepter and all kinds of other fun stuff. Particularly now that we have the Elite available. We've got Elementalist Elites that we can show off turning into a tornado. All kinds of amazing stuff. So thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back to save the people and finish this arc on the very next episode. See you next time.
Feeling that the shadow of the day will become a long, dark night.
Queen Jenna won't let that happen. She has a plan, I'm sure.